Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking 2020 favorites. So let's just go. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are finally getting our 2020 favorites up. It has taken me some time, but slowly but surely. I'm going to try and keep an order. I'm going to try and talk about products in the order that I use them. So when I was thinking about primers for my face, I don't really use primers every day. It really varies on the foundation that I'm going to be wearing, but what I did find myself using a ton during 2020 and even now, the Glow Screen Super Goop SPF. This stuff has been amazing. I love the fact that it has SPF. I love that it adds hydration, and it really does make your skin just look very glowy and luminous. It is beautiful. It works very well with a variety of different foundations, and it is amazing. I would say that Super Goop is the product that I continuously use over and over again. Like I have their Unseen Sunscreen in my primer drawer, and it is a product that I highly recommend, especially if you are somebody that wears makeup daily. Let's move on to foundation. There's 3 foundations that really stood out to me this year, and I really thought about all of the foundations that I have, the ones that I always pull for, and really what stands out to me is the foundations that I think about wearing for a special event, or when I'm going to wear my mask for a long time, or when I need my makeup to wear extremely long. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Foundation. This foundation is beautiful. It's very lightweight, full coverage, it's buildable, and a little bit goes a long way. With this foundation, it's really easy for it to start to look cakey if you add several pumps and just layer it. You really don't need more than 1.5 to 2 pumps maximum. But this wears beautifully. It looks like skin. The longer you wear it, the more natural it looks. It is amazing, and I highly recommend it. I would even say if you're someone that's maybe getting married or you have a special event coming up, this is a great one to have. The other foundation I want to talk about is the NARS Soft Matte Foundation. This foundation obviously was released this year. I feel like it's a little bit of a cheat, but honestly, probably 4 out of the 7 days a week, this is what I'm wearing. This foundation is long wearing, thin, full coverage, comfortable to wear. It works really well when you're wearing a mask. It really is a great product. What I will tell you guys is that the shade match can be a little tricky. Normally my shade in any NARS foundation is Barcelona, and in this one I'm using Valencia. And even then, sometimes I look at it and I feel like it looks a little too peach on my complexion, like I need something that's a little bit warmer. But this was the match that was recommended for my skin tone. And overall, I have to say that I really, really love this product and highly recommend it. The last foundation I have, I feel guilty about this one because I've talked about it. Well, I've talked about the pricing and having it be a little expensive, but it's so worth it. And it's the Pat McGrath Labs foundation. I have a love and hate relationship with this because I find myself having to use more to build up the coverage. It is a solid medium coverage. You can get a little bit more coverage, not where you're going to have like a full, mask on your face, but it's such a thin formula. It really does mimic the skin, and no matter how many layers I apply of this foundation, it never looks like I have on a ton of makeup. The other thing I really love about this foundation is the match. I think this is the best match by far in my collection, and I will be honest with you guys, I have a backup of it. I love it that much. So I highly recommend this product. It is a little bit of an investment, but foundations will run you $40 to $50. I want to say this one's $60 or a little bit more than $60, but it is a great foundation. It's very thin, it's buildable, it wears beautifully under different weather conditions, and I love the match. All right, so after I've applied my foundation, if I'm going to use eyeshadow, guys, Lay in Low Paint Pot by MAC, hands down my favorite eyeshadow primer, and I think you guys kind of pick up on that because whenever I do an eye look, this is usually the one that I use. I do have other ones I'll use, but this is my go-to, and I really love this one because I feel like it really complements my skin tone. So definitely tried and true, have used this for years, and I've tried several colors, but Lay and Low is by far my favorite. We're gonna quickly touch on concealers. The Hourglass Vanish line in general has been pretty amazing. The Vanish concealer has been one of my favorite concealers this year. It was one that I had in heavy rotation at the beginning of the year, and then it just kind of faded and I started to play with other things I had in my collection. But this is one that I love and I go to, and I would continue to repurchase. It is really expensive, but honestly it doesn't sit in your creases. It really offers great coverage. It's hydrating. It never looks cakey, and it doesn't enhance any lines or textures under the eyes. So I really love this one. And the other one I would say is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin. So this one I really love because it's one of those products that you can use on your face and your under eye. What does that mean, right? It means that I have used this as my foundation in Chicago when it's gotten really hot and humid and you don't really want to wear makeup. I have literally just applied this, you know, covered some spots, and if I really wanted to just use it all over my face, I can, and this does not move. This is one of those products that just sets into the skin. It's really thin and easy to blend out, but it has amazing coverage, and it is a really velvety matte finish. It is such an amazing concealer, and initially there was a lot of hype around it, and I feel like it's kind of fallen off a little bit, but it is a beautiful, beautiful concealer. Powders. So my, I'm kind of like in a bind right now. The Fenty Banana Powder is my favorite powder, one of my favorite powders for the year. This one is pretty much out. There's just a little tiny bit left, and I'm trying to get it out because I'm like, I'm not throwing it out. There's product there. I find that this powder locks my makeup in place. It makes my skin look smooth. If you use a lot of this and you are a drier skin type, you're going to find that this will enhance the dryness or the texture in your skin. However, it is such a great powder that I would tell you, girls, set your face with a setting spray or a mist, and it just kind of brings life back to your complexion and hydration. But this stuff really will hold your makeup in place and just makes everything look really flawless and smooth. I have two other setting powders, but setting powders is something that I use every day. The Huda Beauty powder, and this is in Banana Bread. I really love this powder. I think it is such a finely milled powder. It just makes everything look really filtered and smooth. It does a great job at baking. However, this has such a strong scent and fragrance that if you are sensitive to fragrance, it's just not going to work out for you. So for me, it's kind of like a hit or miss with this. Like sometimes I could wear it, doesn't bother me, then there are other times where it's just so heavily fragranced. But I really do love the powder. I think it does a really great job. And if you're not sensitive, I would recommend this. If you are sensitive, stay away because it'll irritate your skin. The last setting powder I'm going to talk about is the Honey Translucent by Laura Mercier. This again was released this year, but I am a huge fan of the Laura Mercier setting powder. You guys will know if you followed me for a long time that it was my tried and true, and probably for the last couple years it's been my favorite setting powder. I think this is the only year where I've had more than one, and this is just perfect for medium complexions, medium tan complexions, and really anything darker than tan. In my circumstances with my skin tone, I find that it just really melts beautifully into my skin. It never looks ashy. It just enhances the golden undertones of my complexion, and it works just as well as a translucent original. This is one of those powders that really just locks everything into place, and you don't ever have to worry about your makeup moving. So I absolutely love this. I have one pressed powder that I'm going to talk about, and I think I've talked about this one in previous years. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. This is my favorite powder ever, pressed powder. This guy will just smooth everything over. It makes everything look blurred and smooth and perfect. And I'll tell you, if I ever go overboard with my foundation or concealer, or if my skin is going through a moment where it just looks really textured and dry, I'd take this with a fluffy brush, lightly dust it all over, magic. Everything looks perfect and smooth. So I would even say that this is like my oops powder. If I mess up, everything looks blurred. Bronzers, let's talk bronzers. Charlotte Tilbury again, guys. This bronzer is just so good. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's already a little dip in the middle there. It's just such a beautiful bronzer. It goes on the skin smoothly. It blends out beautifully. It plays well with other products. It just really looks airbrushed. Her airbrush line is amazing, and I think that you would find that it really does give you that airbrush effect. It really looks natural and soft, and it's buildable to where you could get, you know, just like a more intense bronze effect. But this stuff is amazing, and it's really large. The last bronzer I'm gonna mention, I feel guilty about this one, but the Gucci bronzer. Guys, this Gucci bronzer is amazing. It has a light fragrance to it. It's not intense like Huda Beauty, but it does have, you know, a little bit of a fragrance. It has beautiful packaging. You're not just getting the luxurious packaging, you're getting the luxurious product, and you're going to see that it's buildable. It blends out beautifully. It never looks patchy or uneven. It's always such a smooth application, and it really is worth the hype. These are bronzers that I don't use every day. I use these, like, you know, when I want to look a little extra special, because they are a little bit more on the pricier side, and I'd rather use like my Charlotte Tilbury, which is a little bit more affordable and larger, but these are definitely worth splurging on. Let's talk brows. So for the millionth year in a row, Anastasia Dip Brow, I have been using the Dip Brow gel for probably about 4 years now, maybe 5, and this is my favorite. I used to use the Dip Brow pomade, and they're both great products. I just feel like with this, I get more of a natural brow, and I'm able to comb through my hair and give myself more of a fluffy looking brow versus like a really heavy stenciled brow. And then the other product I want to mention is the M Cosmetics Brow Gel, because I have been going in with this to define the hair in my brow and also to freshen up my brow. So sometimes I find that after a really long day, or sometimes after I complete my makeup, for whatever reason, my brows look a little powdery, and I'll go in with this just to darken them so that you can see, like, so you can see that I have brow definition and hair, and it really does a beautiful job at just emphasizing and accentuating the natural hair in your brow product. Love both of them. So after I do my powder, I use setting spray. I always use setting spray, and I do it just to kind of make my skin look more like skin and not like powdered skin. So I have 2 different recommendations for you. The first one is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is a brand new one. I just finished one of them, and this stuff is amazing because it really locks your makeup in place. And again, if I'm wearing a mask for a long time, or if I need my makeup to wear for a long time, this is what I think to grab, because I have tried it under really hot and humid weather. I've tried it under cold, rainy weather. This will lock your makeup down. The other one I want to mention is the Fenty, look at this, the Fenty Beauty What It Do setting spray. This one I love because the mist is just so fine. It spreads out evenly. It has a light, almost like aloe vera smell. It has very light, clean scent to it. It doesn't bother me. It's not like intrusive, but what I love about this is that once I apply it, it adds glow to your skin. So on a day where you maybe want to look more luminous, or on a day where my skin is super dry, this is what I want to use. And I know these two have been like my go-to. I have quite a bit of setting sprays, but these have been my ride or die, tried and true setting sprays. And it just varies. Like, do I need to make sure that I lock my face down and that nothing disturbs it? Or do I want to look dewy, youthful, and keep my makeup in place? So two really amazing products, and I would recommend both. I had a really hard time picking my favorite mascara of the year. And if you had asked me months ago, I would have said it was a Charlotte Tilbury Push-Up Mascara. And I love this mascara. I have it on today. It just tight lines for you. It adds volume, it adds length. And for me, I have very flat lashes, and this just gives me a curl. I don't have to curl them. I've never curled them. But this one just kind of lifts them up, push up. And it's super black. It doesn't smudge. I would say that when you first open it and you start to use it, you might see a little bit of flaking, but after a week, for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen anymore. I love this mascara so much, and I think they did such a beautiful job with this particular mascara. Where my certainty got skewed, NARS Extreme Climax. I honestly was not expecting to love this as much as I did, but this mascara does exactly what this does. This one just is a little bit more intense. This one gives you like a ton of volume and a ton of length right off the bat, to the point where it could look a little clumpy. So again, with this one, after a week of opening it, you'll start to see that it settles and it's a little bit easier to maneuver. This one can be a little messy, but I love the effect that both of these give me, and I really couldn't pick. So you have two great options. All right, guys, so I'm going to quickly touch on liners. The Fenty liners, these guys are really amazing. They're long wearing. This is the rose gold one that I absolutely love for my waterline. Once you place this liner on your waterline or on your skin, it's not going to move. It's such a smooth, pigmented, long wearing liner, and they come in so many different shades. You really can't go wrong with the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencils. Holy moly. You want to talk about long wearing, non-smudging, really hard to get off? These guys. I'm so impressed with these. Like, I've tried to use these as a base for like looks and shadows, and honestly, they're kind of hard to work with because they set so quickly. But they are workable. You just have to, you know, kind of go at it a little bit harder than you would. But it's such a beautiful pencil. It's easy to use. They have a ton of colors, and if you are a working makeup artist, I would recommend these for your kit because they are just budge proof. My favorite liquid liner of the year is the Roller Lash by Benefit. This is the brown. I have the brown and the black. Both are fantastic options. My black one is somewhere in my vanity. I use them both. When I want to use a liquid liner, these are the liners I use. The Fenty liner is also great, but I find myself really gravitating towards this liner. And to be honest with you, Benefit is not a brand that I visit or frequent often. Like, it's just not a brand that really appeals to me, but they do have gems in their collections, and these are definitely items that are worth looking at and trying because they're just amazing. They're very easy to use. They're pigmented, smooth, and just really amazing. This brown liner is the perfect brown. It's almost like a mid-tone brown where it's just enough to where it defines your eye, but it's not too harsh where it's obvious that you have on liner. Mel Cosmetics. I think Mel Cosmetics makes the best gel liners, hands down. When I want to use a gel liner, I always, especially a brown one, Spliff is my go-to. This is my favorite, and they did such a beautiful job with this liner. It's just very rich and deep, and it's just enough to where you're getting that definition, and it doesn't look like black. Like, you're getting a really beautiful, rich, dark brown. And then of course Immortal, which is their black. Again, this is another one that I use when I want to go in with a black gel liner, or I want to give myself like a really dramatic wing. These liners are so creamy, easy to use, they glide, they're pigmented. Like, I have nothing bad to say about them. They don't smudge, they set beautifully. They do the best gel liners. I forgot my blush. I forgot to talk about my blush. Let's do blush. At the beginning of the year, I was using the Cover FX blushes on heavy rotation, and I will tell you guys I continue to use these when I want a powder blush. These are just so beautiful, pigmented, easy to blend and work with, and I love the fact that you're getting a sheen and a matte. This one, by the way, is Spiced Cinnamon. They're just beautiful blushes to use, and they're pretty affordable considering that you're getting two high quality products. The other two blushes I want to talk about are the Patrick Ta blushes, and I love his original blushes, but I love these just a little more because you have the option to go cream or powder. The formula for both of the products in this compact are just flawless. They're buildable. You can get a very sheer wash of color, or you can go like full-blown heavy pigment, but I love that they're very light. They're really not detectable on the skin, and I mean, the obvious, the packaging is beautiful. Overall, I think Patrick Ta does a beautiful job with his products. And the last blush that I will mention, the Fenty cream blushes. I would have never thought that I'd be into cream blushes, and they're just very thin. They're easy to work with. You can apply them on foundation, you can apply them on powder. Like, you're just going to get a beautiful, flushed, glowy finish. They're good. I forgot to mention a brow product. Patrick Ta. This has been a big game changer for me. This is now my second one. I love this product because, again, it helps enhance and define my brow hairs. So again, it gives me this really natural looking brow. If you guys watch my videos, and you know that my brows are very thin and non-existent, so I do like products that help define the little bit of hair that I do have. This has just been really amazing for me. It builds a little bit of volume in the hair that I do have, so it just looks like I have a fluffier brow. We're gonna jump into lips because it's the smallest, oddly enough, the smallest bunch I have. So the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencils are my favorite for my lips. I have a few that I really love. Wherever Walnut, something Sepia, In and Out Tan. I mean, you really can't go wrong with these pencils. I have a few that I use like to smudge on my eyes. This formula can be used on anywhere basically in your face. This formula can be used anywhere on your face, your eyes, your lips, your cheeks, you name it, you can use it there. They're so easy to blend because they are a kohl, and they're just very long wearing, and I really love the variety that they offer. Lip glosses, I have one drugstore option for you guys, and that's the Maybelline glosses. These are very similar to the Fenty Gloss Bomb, which I love. You guys will know that in previous years they were my top gloss, and they're up there. But this, I feel like it is just a really great option for those of us that don't want to spend $19 on a gloss. These are amazing. You can find them at the drugstore. They have a nice variety of options for you, and they really just, they're so hydrating. So I really recommend these. My favorite liquid lip formulation to this day is still the NARS Power Matte Liquid Lipsticks. I just randomly pulled one. This is Vain, but it's just such a great thin long wearing formulation. And right now, again, if you are somebody that wants to wear lipstick and you have to wear a mask, these are a great option. My high-end lip gloss would be the Lisa Eldridge lip gloss. This is just such a beautiful pigmented thin formula. It's very hydrating. It wears, you know, glosses don't wear extremely long, but it does wear something longer than like what I have on now, which I've had on for like 2 hours, and I've been talking. The color isn't as pigmented as it was when I initially applied it, which this is an Hourglass lip gloss. But I just love this. I love the fact that after it just wears off, you still have this really thin layer of hydration on your lips. And while these are not part of her permanent line, she did release a few shades this year. And if you can still pick them up, I would say give them a shot. And if not, then get ready for next year. So this year, I've played with a lot of different lipstick options and brands. And as you guys know, most of my hauls have been high-end. And guys, Lisa Eldridge takes the cake this year. I'm looking at my Gucci lipsticks. I'm looking at my Patrick Ta lipsticks. I have Charlotte Tilbury up there. I have Pat McGrath. Like, Lisa Eldridge takes the cake. Why? Because she offers a beautiful velvety finish. It's so pigmented that even after it wears, you end up with this like velvety stain on your lip. It's hydrating. The packaging is beautiful. The actual lipstick is beautiful. This is Velvet Affair. Her pigmentation is always stunning. Like, you really can't go wrong with her. I have yet to be disappointed by her. I doubt she'll disappoint. And it's just such a beautiful line. We're down to the end. And I wanted to end with my favorite eyeshadow palettes because you guys know that I'm not really someone that wears eyeshadow every day, but I have my go-tos and I think that you guys know what they are. So the first one is going to be, I want to say that this was my favorite last year too, the Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction palette. Hands down, this is my favorite palette that she's made, and this is my most used and abused palette. Let me show you. If I show you my other palettes, they do not look as messy, as dirty, as touched as these. And it really is my favorite palette. Like, whenever I think about getting ready for a special event or, you know, doing some really glam look, this is the palette that I want to use. I will be doing more looks with this, but this one is by far my favorite palette that she's made. And just the artwork and the packaging, it's all there. The quality, you won't be disappointed. She's expensive though. The other one, Metropolis. This has, again, if you look at my Natasha Denona palettes, they don't look like this. This palette is just, it's beautiful. Like, I love the tones in here. I love the greens, the blues, these, you know, like earthy brown and green shades. Like, this has everything that I love and that I don't wear every day, but I could definitely get like an everyday look out of this. So the formulation on these is stunning. You have, you know, her normal powder formulation, and then you have these really amazing cream to powder formulas in some of these shadows, like this one here. Oh, I love this one. And, you know, then you have these stunning intense metallics. So I highly recommend this palette. And again, I think that if you are somebody that likes olives, blues, greens, you know, earth tones, you'll really love this. The last palette might surprise you guys. The Jackie Aina palette by ABH. So I got this when I was still working at Sephora. We got it in gratis, and to be honest with you guys, I would not have bought it on my own because I don't really buy Anastasia palettes. But I'm so glad that we got this one because, guys, these colors are just amazing. I think Jackie did a really beautiful job at picking shades that would work with any skin tone. You have these really beautiful pops of color. Oh my god, this color here is just life. She did an amazing job with that. Like, I wish that this was one of those colors that you can purchase as a single shadow, because this would be in my kit all day, every day. She just did a beautiful job. They're blendable, they're smooth, they're pigmented. I have nothing bad to say about this palette. The packaging is obviously like super, super cute. And these palettes are very reasonably priced. You're not breaking the bank when you're buying a palette like this. Alrighty guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what some of your favorites were for this year. And if you've made it this far, 2 of you will be picked to win the Pillow Talk Blush by Charlotte Tilbury. These are brand new. It's just a little token of appreciation. All you have to do is leave me a comment down below letting me know what some of your favorite products were. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and go and follow me on Instagram. Be sure to leave me either your email address or your Instagram handle so that I can contact you. But thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me. You guys literally made 2020 better. So thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.